Hey guys, I wanted to document how I install my Titan T3 squat rack. Don't ask, why this one versus Rogue, maybe for a different video. Don't really care. Um, so here we go. This is where it's gonna go. Garage is a mess, but just moved in and need a place. It's gonna go on this wall. We'll see how the tilt of the concrete is. I don't think it'll be too bad, but we'll figure it out as we go. This is what came in the boxes. So 4 arms were pre-assembled loosely. Still need to be tightened up. Locking pins, 1 sheet of instructions. These bolts are to, I'm guessing, to put the frame together. And here are the frame load bars. I was really happy to see that it came with 4 J hooks. That's nice. Keep one for bench and one for squats. Who knows? And a lot of people have commented about having a wide bar for chin-ups. This is the chin-up bar or the front section. I don't know. I'm 5'8", 5'9" on a good day. I don't have particularly big hands. I really like the thick grip. I think it'll be really good. So I'll let you know how things go. So the instructions start with the wall bracing, 2x10 stringers. I don't have those yet. I'm going to put the rack together and then figure out what I'm going to do. My situation, I think I'm going to end up going here, like on the drywall with some stringers instead of here in the concrete, because I have a little bit of a step and I don't really want to deal with that. So if I can manage to put the stringer like here and then up there somewhere, I think that'll work out okay. I also wanted to show the hardware. These are really nice zinc coated grade 8 heavy bolts and nuts for putting the frame together with the arms. So I'm going to do that next. So here's my idea, and here's how it kind of goes together. Nothing's bolted in, it's just precariously balancing and waiting for it to fall. But just to show you, this is what I'm thinking about. I'll put a stringer here, like that, across, and then one up there somewhere. Everything's lined up really well. Should be okay in terms of height for my bench, which is that homemade thing over there. So it's not in the way. So should be okay. We'll give it a go. I'll put the rest of it together and see how it goes. Okay, so I noticed something on the diagram. That's the bottom, and it shows the fine attach or fine adjustment. This is, I think, where your chin-up bar is supposed to be, but not on the bottom. It's supposed to be on the top. The top should be the section that does not have these pads. These are the wear pads, the nylon pads that are going to slide on the concrete as you move and fold the rack. So I think the instructions are a little bit off, but if you pay attention, so far it's not too bad. That's what it looks like so far. And let's see, I'm not following their suggestion on the hole spacing because I don't want to drill into the concrete. We'll see if that's going to make a difference later on. It should be relatively easy to fix. Alright guys, here's a quick tip. Took it all down, or at least laid it down. I'm doing this solo, so lay the rack down, then put the chin-up bar on, then stand it back up. Otherwise it's impossible to mount. I don't have 4 arms. If you follow the instructions, The instructions talk about mounting the stringers first and so on. I have to put this thing together first so that I know exactly how it's going to go together and where it's going to go. So it's easier for me to test fit it like this. But just a tip, lay it down, put the pin in on that side like that, and then it's a lot easier. Okay, let's stand this bitch back up. Let's see if I can balance it on here somewhere. I'm not sure that's gonna work. Let me stand it up. Okay, so stood it back up, and essentially that's how it's gonna sit. I have to play around, run to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever you want, and get the hardware. Doesn't come with any mounting hardware, which is kind of a pain, but I guess it all depends on what you're going to mount it into anyway. So stay tuned. So far, and my initial impressions are build quality is pretty high. I don't care about it being 2x3. I'm never going to lift more than 1,000 pounds, nor would I want to. And quite honestly, for the $200 difference between this and the Rogue one, forget it. Like, I'd buy this every day, all day. And I don't know, there's something about Rogue that's over branded, and it kind of makes me sick to look at it all the time. I'm not a CrossFitter. I like to lift weights. I'm not a sponsored anything. And every time I see Rogue, it just like, it screams Reebok, it screams Nike, it screams all sorts of branding, which I don't know. I'm just not a big fan. So anyway, I'm gonna pause here and pick it up another day. Thanks. So after a bunch of moving back and forth, here's how we ended up. Let me show you. Let me try to step back and zoom out here. Here's the T-3. There's a 2x10 stringer at the top, and two 2x10s on the bottom. Here's what I figured out, at least in my garage. I have this, it's concrete block, then there's a little bit of a step, and then the drywall. And so what happens is, just lucky I guess, those two combined, obviously 3 inches, minus the drywall thickness, minus one stringer, minus another 1 inch thick board, makes that, you know, vertical. So the beams are vertical, which is great. That's horizontal, which is great. Here's, I guess, a conclusion from me. If you're putting this in a garage, I think you have to consider the slope of the garage first. Obviously there's a downward slope in most garages because I'm installing this on the sidewall, and if you're going to do that, it's not going to close. So right now as it stands, this is not meant to close, because what happens is if you try to close it this side, which is, you know, I installed them so that they're flush to the floor, because I don't particularly like the idea of hanging a bunch of weight off the walls. So if I try to swing this up, it's going to swing uphill. Remember the slope, it's going to swing uphill, and it actually catches right here. I'm not going to grind away anything. I like having that, you know, fixed there, or at least on the ground there. This one's on the ground, and that's fine. If I need to, at some point, get this extra, you know, it's only about 2 feet of space. I'm not planning on using this garage stall for a vehicle other than plastic fantastic stuff from the kids. You know, other than that, it is what it is. It's gonna sit there. As far as the build quality, I'm quite impressed. I like it a lot. I'm not, you know, I'm certainly not getting anything from them. The hinges are very heavy. There is a sleeve in here that's nice, on the other side too, top and bottom. So, you know, I'm not some huge power lifter. You know, 350, 400 pounds max is what this is going to see. And that's about it. So, in a nutshell, works pretty well. The dip attachment, on the other hand, it's shitty. This particular one from Titan, you'll read the angles on these two. Sorry, the angles here and here don't match, and so the bars aren't exactly level. It sat in the box for a little bit too long for me to return it. It was only $50, and I might try to, you know, heat it up and bend it and see what happens. The squat assist or the safety bars work fine. That's not an issue. I like having the larger diameter on top. You know, my kids like it. I bought the Rogue kid bar. That fits fine on this 2x3 box channel, so that's fine. And I'll show off my DIY bench, flat and incline. I've had it for 3 years and no issues with it. So in a nutshell, the Titan thing is fine. I'm sure the Rogue one is fine too, but if I had the room, I would put it against a wall that's on the end of the garage, so I don't have to deal with the slope as much, not on a side slope. So that's it, tubers.